All right. So, we are now live. Welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. Tonight, we are here with our lovely guest. We'll introduce momentarily before we get to her. Make sure you guys, you know what I'm going to tell you guys to subscribe to the channel, the podcast guys on YouTube. Support us there. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, the podcast guys _ We are the podcast guys on Facebook, Spotify, and the podcast guys 5 on X. We are live. We're doing this live, so make sure that you're not too hard on us here because, again, not many people are on doing this live, giving you the content and the tea that you're going to be hearing soon. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and introduce our lovely guest to the show. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Why don't you start off by giving us your name, age, occupation, highest level of education, your nationality, and if you're single or in a relationship.
Okay, I am going to try to relate all of that back in that order.
If you can remember that.
All right, so my name is Isabella. Hi.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you guys on the live. I am 29 years old in October, and I'm a paralegal. So I took my bar exam. So my highest level of education is a JD, so Juris Doctorate, law school. And I am single. What was
Nationality.
And nationality. I am Polish.
Polish. All right.
Yeah, Polska.
Welcome, Polska. There we go.
Let's go. I think that's our first Polish guest, right?
This is our first Polish guest. It's crazy because for those of you out there that are not aware, our guy over here, the best of the best, Rob, is Polish, and we know a lot of Polish people, but some of them are a little scared to come on. So
I know.
We're happy to have
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to muster up the courage.
Yeah.
But
You have to
I'm not going to be part of that stereotype.
No.
That's it.
Nope.
You have to come out here and take one for the team. So thanks for coming on. We have Poland in the house. And Rob, why don't we go ahead with the first question? And before the first question, by the way, guys, we are going to go also pre-record. So we're doing the live now. We'll jump off, and an episode will come soon pre-recorded. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you can catch that as well.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will relate to this topic. So we live in a world where it seems like you have almost like endless options, right? With social media, with dating apps, you could really spend like every day just scrolling through pages and, you know, oh, maybe I'll meet someone better. Maybe somebody else will come along. We were having a conversation before about how it's kind of hard to find exactly what you're looking for nowadays. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So I wanted to go around the table and kind of share what kind of challenges women have, what kind of challenges men have, and what can we do about it?
Well, okay, so I will piggyback off of that. Mm-hmm. So as to the whole scrolling and everything on Instagram, I know that there are two different kinds of women. Personally speaking, I guess I am more of that kind of woman that now is more just looking on Instagram, just seeing what is out there. However, there is a different kind of woman who is on there that is portraying this kind of life that I guess she's always looking for the next best thing instead of just looking for what is still out there. So there's two different kinds of people, women, speaking, that you're either on there kind of looking for what you do want in life, or you are on there because you are kind of not content with what you already have in life, and that you go on there as more of kind of like a more present person on the platform, where you are posting things, where you are trying to get this kind of like recognition from people that, hey, I see what you're doing in life. Oh my God, good for you. They motivate you. However, you do kind of lose that kind of reality where it's like you are doing this for more people on there. So it's more of women who are just more closer in what they're looking on, like Instagram and Facebook and everything like that. It's like their normal daily lives. They look at people, they know what they're doing in their lives and maybe seeing like, hey, I want this. or other people where they're actually creating the content of like, you look at this and you want this, you want to be this girl. They're not happy though still, because they're still posting. Some women like that though. They like the attention, and that gives them more of a sense of like, accomplishment for themselves. However, other women are more just looking and like kind of trying to find that kind of motivation or like inspiration into maybe being happier in their lives if they're not like in that moment. If they're single, they don't have anything really going in that direction where they see this whole life made by already like on display. So you have a viewer and you also have a creator.
Yep, correct. Exactly.
Just like men, I've seen, like some men look to other men for like what they want to be.
Yeah,
other
of course.
men create it.
Yeah, role model. Yeah, of course.
So do you think people are having a tougher making decisions on their own on what they want to be in life, what they want to do in life, and they're going too off of what other people want from them?
So going off the first thing, I feel like whatever you are kind of like exposed to though on the platform, because you do get this kind of like directed kind of content. So you get this kind of like whole idea in your head that this is what you want to be. However, other people are exposed to different things. It's a lot of things on this platform. So basically, yeah, you are trying to find what you want to be. It is motivating you. However, sometimes the motivation may not be positive. It may be a little bit more materialistic, where it's like, and then that loses the perspective of like what is actually a wholesome life. And then it goes into, do you have a very close familial, like a kind of situation where you are close with your family, and then you actually care about what they say and what you do in your life. So a lot of these people though that do create this content, like women and men, they are these kind of people that you do view in their posts. It's like they're it's solidarity. It's isolation. So they are becoming their better selves. Maybe they don't have somebody that's always judging them. And that also goes into normal people though, that aren't this kind of big presence on the platform. Then you really do get influenced by other people. So it's like something that you already kind of like, assume is like going to make you happy, and you look at it on Instagram from these people, these role models, may not always be accepted by the people that are in your lives.
100%.
Well said.
Yeah, it seems like everybody lives these independent lives where it's just they're doing things, but they're trying to fit in, and they're trying to like follow what people want them to do, and they're just confused. It's a mixed bag. It's too much going on. They don't know what direction to go in, and I think that folks living for themselves and for what they want to do, I think, is the most important of all.
I agree.
No matter what,
I agree.
men or women.
Yeah.
Men or women, and that's kind of what leads to, well, okay, now what happens with trying to date? Who do I try to date? Who's the best choice? Should I go with a woman that's independent? Should I go for a woman that's out there? Or vice versa, a woman going out, trying to get attraction from a guy.
What is your end goal?
Yeah. What's my end goal? Who is my end goal to be with?
Exactly.
Basically.
So a lot of the things, the factors that affect and like kind of already dictate what you should be or who you should end up with is a lot coming from your family. And sometimes, a person might not have the closest relationship with their family. Sometimes they do have a very close relationship. So you do get that kind of broad spectrum of people. Whereas, like the people that don't have many ties with their family, they are more these kind of people that do create. They do inspire because they really don't care, though, about what people think, because they don't have somebody telling them, hey, this isn't what you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. So basically, they are more of these kind of people that find themselves. And they do go through a lot of things, and they find their best thing. And you can take a little bit of that, and you can apply it to your own life. Because sometimes, yes, you should really care about what the people in your lives on the daily think of you. However, sometimes those people you do have to break away from because they might not be the best influences in your life.
Very true.
Exactly, on how you want to be happy in your life, because you already have, ethnically speaking, Polish people, it's very kind of assumed you have to maybe end up with somebody like European, or like you have to have these kind of values, and you have to raise your kids this way in this religion and everything like that, and everyone is so judgmental.
It's a very old school.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
you already have this kind of like, you see your parents and like you don't find these kind of people, or these kind of people that are willing to stay together anymore.
That's true too. Yeah.
Because it was embarrassment to kind of break up and like to divorce. You never heard about that really with like, I know my parents, like, you know, there was many probably times that like many normal people, like, you know, would call it quits nowadays. Whereas my parents went through and everything, and, you know, and they lasted until, you know, and you don't see that kind of like dedication to somebody anymore.
Yeah, you really don't. It seems like people are easy to quit on one another. I mean, we've seen people quit on each other after a few months of marriage at some point. You know, Rob and I knew somebody that.
But it goes into the embarrassment though also, because it's like you don't do that though to your family. You don't get married and then you divorce a few months later. Like, it's a really big decision, especially that, because you really should kind of care though if you do have a family tie.
And that's the world we live in. And I think, you know, men and women share that fear of, what if I really get into a deep, serious relationship with somebody, have kids,
Scared.
and then you end up divorced, or, you know, you have a complete, plus you're responsible for raising a kid, 2 or 3. So I do think women have that fear as well, because I know men definitely right now are
Women are always left with the kids though.
That's true. No, very true. Very true. Yeah. Correct.
But there are a lot of fathers, though. You know, I know a lot of people who are very dedicated fathers, and they might not be with the mother anymore. However, you don't always get that kind of guy. And you don't always get that kind of woman either.
Something I always think about is like, we've all been in long-term relationships, right? Like, at what point do you say to yourself, okay, I trust this person to move forward and have...
Exactly.
Where do you draw the line?
And at what age were you, though, that you started thinking about that?
What's the deciding factor? Is it your age? Is it how long you dated? Is it like the trust you built with them? Because, you know, sometimes people date for 5, 6 years.
Can you find somebody better? That is always in the back of your head, especially when you are at a younger age. For women especially, and for guys speaking too, you know, for guys, you have a longer timeline as to when you actually do need to kind of settle down. Because, you know, for women, it's biological factors.
Big time, yeah.
And it's also like, you know, career driven too, though, if you have kids, and then how do you juggle your career? Knowing like, you know, what I'm in, it's like also kind of like, how do I have kids? Like, if I do want to pursue, like, you know, go further in the legal career and do this as a lawyer and everything, it's just like the women will always neurologically, like, you will always have a more closer tie with that child. So then how do you decide that is the person that you want to have kids with? Now at an older age, and being burned a few times in like relationships and everything like that, where now looking back, if you maybe did kind of decide to settle down with that person that you were with in the past, you would not even have any kind of a life remote like right now, and it might have went worse, and you don't know. And a lot of people always say that like, I'm not bothered by my decision at the time because I'm okay in my life right now. And like, maybe you could have had a better life, maybe you could have a worse life, but we're always in our minds about finding something better.
Yes. Yeah, I think for both, for men and women, they always want to see what's better out there. So if they're not satisfied in what they're in currently, they're going to try to.
And social media makes it worse. Big outlet.
Yeah. You have, especially I would say for the ladies, they have more options than guys, because women are the ones who get the messages. Women are the ones that get asked out by
Bumble.
Men. Well, Bumble. There's Bumble. There's Tinder.
Very overwhelming. I don't know. I feel like the guys sit on that kind of stuff now more so, because for a girl, if I'm bored at work or something and I'm scrolling,
I was going to ask you, do you think women take it seriously? Like, it seems like something you would just kind of go on when you have some free time to kill, see who you swipe with, and like once you start talking, you're not going to be like, locked into that person. Like, oh, I connected with somebody. It's just kind of like whatever, right?
Unless you really want to talk to that person. However, then
Yeah.
it's like, what check marks are you really looking for, though, in even this limited kind of like, okay, you see a profile. You have like only a few kind of things on that profile to make you really interested in a person.
I'll tell you what I don't like about online dating, and I just had this experience like 2 weeks ago. I connected with somebody. We started texting. She lived in my area. She was my age. I found her on Facebook, did that whole stalking thing to see what kind of a person she is.
Calling you out on yourself.
And we started texting, and she just starts asking these like questions, and I guess she didn't like
21
certain
questions?
things. Yeah, she starts asking me those questions. I'm like, look, number one, we haven't even met yet, right? Which it's okay to get to know each other. Obviously, you have to ask certain questions. And then we just stopped texting. I was like, holy shit! Like,
I mean, wait. Depending on what kind of questions,
it wasn't anything.
Because in high school, you would ask like a person you were texting, like in your grade or whatever, somebody you knew in town, and you would be like, "What's your favorite color?" Or like, what kind of questions were these that
She
like,
was
you felt
asking,
like it was not appropriate?
like, my living situation. Where do I work? Which is, it's fine to ask that, but I mean, my point ultimately is the whole purpose of an online dating app is to connect. Okay, there's some interest there. But the whole purpose is to meet in person.
But do you understand what she did there?
What did she do?
She was already trying to see if your life, the way that you already had it set up,
is going to match what she wants.
Would accommodate what she is looking for.
Yeah.
And that's why. That is literally what she was doing because she didn't want to waste her time either.
And I think that is something extremely common. Like we talk about this on a lot of episodes where now people are very quick to disqualify. Let's just say she didn't like the answers I gave her, right? I think you should still meet and let's say I answered all the questions perfectly, right?
Right.
You still have to meet and get to know each other. Like
feel each other's stories about that kind of mentality.
Okay. Well, let's get into it.
So, like, okay, you give a person a chance to meet. Off of this, I remember maybe 3 years ago. Just graduated law school, summer, and I was like, okay, I'm lonely and I want to see what's out there. I matched with a few guys. I gave a few a kind of really all right, let's try. Met them up. How do guys ask you out on a date and literally the girl ends up paying for the date because the girl felt so bad that you weren't that compatible at all and you just want to get out of there.
Okay.
And that you're just, but the guy is not a man enough though. It was just that would always be the thing where I would take the charge and I'd be like, I'm ending this date here. And I gave you the chance and I met up with you. No hard feelings. I'll pay because I don't want you to think I'm a bitch.
Well, is that what she did? Did she just pay for just to escape right away?
I'm saying for me. That was my situation.
That was your situation.
I would literally, because, the guy would think that there's a connection there. Okay. And they're oblivious.
So on the first date, what do you think guys do wrong where they might ruin it for themselves on that first date? Like you said, you said something key there.
They don't open the door to the place, and you're basically holding the door for them.
Okay.
It's just the little kind of chivalry. Is it dead?
You want a gentleman, pretty much.
I want just somebody who would kind of think enough to make that good first impression. Because now, like you said, you're so quick where you just want to go and meet and see if it'll vibe. But are you thinking are you going into this wholeheartedly? Is this really something I want to pursue? Are you going to give your best version of yourself?
I'll give you an example. This is what came to my mind, going back to what I was saying a minute ago, right? Let's say I connected with a girl on Tinder or something, right? And I find out she's a single mom. And I go, oh, no, thank you. Or maybe she's older than what I want. I go, oh, no, thanks. So it would be fair for me to do that because maybe it's not what I want, correct? But maybe, possibly, I missed out on somebody that I would like to date, somebody that I get along with. That's what I'm looking for. All I'm saying is to just ask questions like that and be like, that's not going to work. Like I said, I'm 38. This woman was 36. If you're being that selective where you're disqualifying people off of texting questions.
Check your box. Exactly, but you already have this kind of box that you don't even know about. Some people, it's you don't think that you're really kind of biased to okay, I could try it, but then when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, are you ready? Are you ready to become a step parent? Are you ready for that big commitment already that you have to provide basically for a family?
Your point is basically stick to your guns. Like if you know it's not going to work, doesn't meet your standard, don't even bother.
But then why didn't you go meet her at least?
I would have been down to, but we just stopped texting.
But
I wasn't going to chase
fizzled?
after. Huh?
Who fizzled?
I guess we both. That's where the texting ended.
I'm just curious because there is a point
Mm-hmm.
though, like where you're excited, you give a girl your number
Mm-hmm.
and you text.
Yeah.
See, I'm very selective of that. I don't really give people my numbers at all.
Okay.
Because it's like at that point where it's like I'm not a teenager. I'm not gonna keep up with this person. I didn't save their number. Like, you have to be a little bit more selective because you already do have these kind of check boxes. And
I'm not really a fan of the whole social media dating apps, whatnot, the Tinders and the Bumbles. I only have them or have had them just to kind of see what guys
what
have to deal
everybody's
with.
talking about though, like in that moment, it was big.
Exactly, because I'm more of a natural meet her naturally, meet her in person.
There's no such thing like that anymore.
It's tougher now. I mean, there is, but it's so much tougher now because
speed dating.
I mean,
but you get to meet. Like it already checks off that. Like you already notice if you want this kind of person. Like if you're actually down to kind of really ride it out to see what's down the line.
Yeah. I mean, you could. There's different ways to do it, but I think the best way is to definitely go out and find a way to meet in person, even if it's through somebody that you know. So maybe they connect you, or whatever it is. Go out, do activities. But the thing is that girls are not as approachable anymore. They'll call a guy a creep. They'll tell a guy, no, I'm not interested. They won't give it a chance. And guys are tired of trying. Their guys are tired of rejection.
Well, going back to my original point, I think most men have a hard time meeting those initial, like what women would call bare minimum standards. I think that's the case most of the time. Because even if you do go on a date, she's still going to ask you those questions. Where do you live? Where do you work? Which is fair to ask. I'm not saying women shouldn't ask. You have to get to know the person.
Right. I mean, I do think that women do ask some questions, though, because they want to see, okay, what purely, I mean, of course, there are questions that they have to ask to see what they get out of it, but they ask for purely the benefit of themselves and not, hey, how can we potentially be together for the sake of each other?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, where women have more of a biological clock. So basically, in those kind of questions, though, that the woman is asking, because I've been down this path where it's like, if you knew about this right up front, you wouldn't have wasted like 6 to 7 months, even just like talking with a person who still didn't even want to commit to you and be in a relationship with you. So then you feel stupid at the end of the day, where it's like, you should have asked. Like, okay, do you want kids maybe down the line? There are, like, I could name, like, 2 guys I want, but, like, that, like, they never wanted kids. And then it's like, I kind of want kids. And then it's like, if you ask that in the beginning, hey, are you a single parent? Hey, do you already have kids? Do you want kids? That is a deal breaker. And that does, deter, like, wasted time. So, like I said, women have more of a biological clock now. And in my age, it's just like, like my mom already had 3 kids by the time she was 28.
Which makes sense. Which makes sense, because when women have kids older, they'll tend to not be as healthy. The older they get, of course, women can have kids, but they won't be as healthy when they're born. There are issues with that.
But it's also about, like, being able to raise them, though, the way, like, being able to keep up with the kids, being able to be there for the kid. It was just different. Like, my mom was younger. Like, she didn't really. Now I'm seeing a lot of people, like, they are career driven and everything. So how do you find that balance? So you do ask about, what do you do for work? What do your days look like? Are you around? Are you this? Are you that? Because then how do you really start something with somebody if your schedules aren't even compatible, or, like, you really can't support the life that you kind of do want to maybe work towards, but not a lot of women or men are really invested in seeing it through.
I think, everybody's going to have their own standard or their minimum. I think that's fair to say. But I think that can also, if you're too selective, it could keep you single long term. It could backfire.
For sure.
It could backfire. I'll give you an example. If I sat down on a date and a woman asked me, do you want kids? The direct answer would be yes. But it's not that simple of a question to answer.
With the right person.
I don't know you.
That's the cool.
I don't know if I like. Let's just say I want kids, right? I don't know if I want kids in 6 months or 3 years because we haven't dated yet. It's going to depend on the person. Some people date and they have kids right away. Some people have kids 8 years.
Accidents, though, too.
Accidents happen. So I get the point of the
They're
questions.
blessings, but but it was I'm not calling out anyone on this. It's a blessing life. Good for you. You chose life. Okay. And you love another person. All right. And you find purpose in your life. Sometimes that changes a person.
You're always going to have to risk a little bit when you start dating somebody. I don't believe there's a way to filter somebody to the point where it's like, they filled out the questionnaire. I think this is going to be the person, because they could still disappoint you. They could still cheat on you and not turn out. They could lie. People put on a facade. So I think that's why it gets a little more complicated than just, let me filter this person out, you know?
There's no perfect person. I mean, every person has their pros and cons.
And too many people think that there are perfect, though, people for them. And that's where they still keep on looking for what's next and what's better.
They think that, and then they find out that person wasn't perfect, and then they missed out on the one from before. So it's like...
So they keep on trying to reach for the stars, whereas they could have stuck it out in something and seen, instead of disqualifying it so quickly and just jumping ship.
Yeah. Well, for women, they're more hypergamous. So if there's a guy that they're with and they see a guy that they're not with, and they see that guy in the gym working out, making more money, building up his status, and growing.
I like that. That was like European status.
The status.
What is your status?
What is your status?
Or British.
I'm going to say it that way. Your status.
State your status.
I'll just say it that way. Screw it.
I like it.
There's there's women that are looking for more and more and more from a guy because they think that their life is gonna.
But that loops
better
back into the creators.
Yeah.
And the role models. And that's exactly what these people, like you just said, they're seeing a guy at the gym. They see the post. They're like, why isn't my guy like that? Why isn't he working out? Why isn't he this? Why isn't he that? And then they keep on looking for the next best thing, thinking that this life is so happy for these people that are posting this. Like I said, they're always alone, though, most of them.
Yeah, I mean, they'll argue back and forth. She'll see one guy making a lot of money, going to the gym, confident, respectful, trustworthy, and then they'll see their guy, and he might be missing some of those qualities, and she'll tell him, hey, why aren't you going out and making more money? Hey, why aren't you going to the gym more? Hey, why aren't you more interactive with people more and building your confidence and
but
things
then
of
the
that
guy
nature.
could also then, when they get badgered and like kind of like made like they feel less than from the girl because they see this kind of person that they want them to be like, then they get this kind of like, you know, like rush. They're like, why do I need to be with this woman? I could find a different woman. And then they start looking for different women. And that's where the disconnect happens. And that's where all of the kind of like loyalty and also like kind of like, let's stick it out and like just work on bettering each other and not kind of like holding each other to these kind of like very, very hard to reach, like kind of like statuses.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Like people on Instagram, some of them, that's their job. That's it.
Yep.
Of course, maybe our lives would all look so beautiful if that's all we did.
Yeah.
If we had all that courage to do all of that.
Plus, I think people sometimes forget that, like, not everything you see on social media is reality, okay? And it's very easy to get caught up in that because social media really does show you, like, the best of everyone's life. They only show you what they want you to see.
Our parents didn't have social media.
No.
Nope.
This is really the first time that this has happened in history where you see...
Parents, nothing.
That has taken off this way.
To the grave they go. No social media.
Imagine if our grandparents had social media. What would they post?
Had Skype. That's
They had
the
Skype.
most that they went to,
Skype.
and Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
That's all my grandparents had it for, to fucking call.
Towards the end. I mean, towards the end, like of probably their
And they would tell
generation,
me
I
to
guess.
post some pictures for the family to see, but it was more wholesome. They weren't looking for like, oh my God, look at this fine ass old lady, like that I want to be with, and I'm gonna leave your grandma.
Right. It was.
That happens.
It was more old school. So going back to that old school love, that mentality,
Loyalty.
is it gone now? Is it lost completely, or is there still some of it left? Is there still a way to be able to bring it back to life if it's not really there anymore?
That's determinative though of what people think of you though. It is the outside factors though too, because it's like you could have friends who are just so progressive and they're just like, no, you should find yourself. You shouldn't settle for this. You shouldn't settle for that. But it's also the people that you surround yourselves with and who you look for acceptance. So like you could look at your friends. They're all married and with kids and everything like that. How are you going to, you want to fit that mold, but then where do you look? And then it's just like, it's just such a circle and circle and circle. So it's a lot of like just outside forces though too, where it's like, are your friends loyal to their partners?
There you go.
And then you see this perfect family life, but behind closed doors, it's not.
Correct. Right. And especially like, we've all seen those like couples that post like pajama pictures for the holidays. I feel like those are the ones that probably have the biggest arguments.
And then they get divorced. I mean,
total chaos behind closed
cheating,
doors.
Or she was like,
I mean, there are people that they look for better and they find better, but there's also people that
then they abandon all of like the family stuff because then like say you leave something wholesome. Say you leave your kids, so you divorce, you go to the next best thing that you found, and then what does your family think? You just left your kids, or the woman, the man. Like it also is like if you want to level up, it's like how do you do it in a way that's not like gonna like get you completely like shunned from the family life that you already have and that you already had your foundation and your roots in. Polish people, we're the closest people, sometimes too close with our family. How do you go and abandon everyone's just like criticism of you,
expectations? Yeah, we were talking about that before we went live, like and I'm sure a lot of other cultures can relate to this, where our parents and grandparents came from this really old school mentality and they think that we live in those same times. Oh, well, why can't you just find a nice girl? Why can't you just find a nice boy?
When are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids?
Exactly. And they have no idea.
So the pressure builds.
Yeah.
it's easier said than done. If you could do it right away, people would do it right away, but it's hard to, if you're in something, it may be easy or hard to leave. Easy to leave if it's difficult to be with that person.
It's hard to get a stepping stone onto like really kind of like high driving your life into the direction that you really want it to, especially at our like our ages, like growing up. It's like everything kind of becomes more set in stone. Where it's like you can't just like move to California and like nobody's gonna have crap to tell you about it. Like, or something, or like anywhere, like, like I can move to Poland and everything like that. I'm sure I would love it actually more over there because it is that kind of mentality where people are more together.
Yes.
And they value relationships and family more so than like maybe here in New Jersey. It's what you surround yourselves with. A lot of people in Poland, you don't hear about divorces.
It's definitely a cultural thing. I think in the U.S., things have gotten a little out of whack altogether. All of it. Yeah, cheating, standards, hookup culture, all of it. Social media.
We have shows dedicated into catching cheaters.
Yeah, correct.
Like for entertainment, though.
Yeah.
People monetize it because they.
But then people think it's like okay though.
People think it's a great thing, but
like I'm not gonna get caught though. I'll be smarter than this person, this dumbass like on.
It's
cheaters.
so common now that when you catch somebody, yeah, you were saying.
No, I was just gonna say people will get caught. I mean, eventually, if you're cheating, absolutely. What you were saying?
No, I was just saying that the whole cheating thing is so common that, like, when you find out, like, I'm not even really surprised anymore when I hear when you find something out, just like,
it's honestly like,
I knew that was coming.
What point? Like, when do you actually hear about it?
Yeah.
Like, it's probably around, but like, when do they get caught? Like, oh my God, it's such a perfect relationship. I've seen it with my friends and everything. It's like, oh my God, I'm in love with this guy. But you were just with somebody else last week, and I had no idea you were still with this guy still.
It's hard to trust anybody.
And how do you be a good friend though? And then defend this person where it's just though like, do you have value? Do you have values? Do you have morals?
Sometimes being a friend is about having the tough conversation with your friend, letting them know, hey.
But it's judgment. It's judgment. You feel like your friend shouldn't judge you.
That's true, but that's part of the tough conversation. If you're if you're judging them, but at the same time, it's trying to give them realistic life advice so they don't screw up, then yes, it may be judging to them, but at the end of the day, later on down the line, they may thank you for, hey, you saved my relationship.
But it goes deeper than that, though, because if they are these kind of people that are repeat kind of like offenders in their relationships, how do you, like, that's your friend. That's your bro. That's your girlfriend. That's your person. They're there for you in every other aspect, but you don't agree on this. You don't agree, like, hey, okay, you and your boyfriend just had a fight. Okay, I get it. He's a real douchebag. But, like, why are you going to go back together with him? How, like, okay, yes, you give this friend all of this advice, but they already have internalized it that it's fine. I'll be okay. I will deal with it. They'll take me back. That's the thing, though. It's just a cycle, though, of the people that are unhappy, but they're still together, though. So then it's like, what level of dedication, what level of respect do you get nowadays?
I mean, I think as far as like telling someone, giving them suggestions and whatnot, I barely ever do anymore.
Because you don't want to hear it, though, if it backfires.
I don't think they're going to take it seriously. And I feel like eventually they will learn probably the hard way.
But at what age, though? Are we really, like, exactly? Because there's people still, like, your age is, like...
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's cool.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Okay. What's your, like, worst fear around your own relationship or marriage? What's your worst fear? Like, the thing that you just don't want to happen?
Where it's just you invest, like, everything. Like, I've been through a lot in my life. I've lost a lot of people. I've lost my grandparents and then my mom in the last 3 years. And it's...
Sorry about that.
Yeah, very sorry. Yeah.
It's just, like... And then you lose the person where it's actually, like, your guides and your, like, actual... loved ones in family. So it's just like, what was the question again?
What's your worst fear? I mean, everybody has a certain level of fear around like dating and relationships. Like everyone has.
I'll invest my whole life story into somebody. That's where I was going.
And it won't work out.
And then it doesn't work out. And then it's like, I actually gave a person like the deepest like pit of my heart, like my emotions. And it's like, you've been through a lot of shit, like, you know, like there's probably people out there everywhere, like who have been through their own struggles, and it's just, I feel like the fear is like, I'm not going to be the one to get hurt first. I'll hurt you first. And it's like, that's my fear. Like, you're always waiting for the shoe to drop, where it's just like, no, I really never cared about you, and that hurts. Like, where it's like, it's your person. Like, I was with someone for years, and it was just like. And then it's like, it becomes your person. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, how do you become strangers?
And it happens very quick. And it's like, you never know each other.
And it was during when my mom passed. And that, exactly. It's like, how do you do that to somebody? And that's where I talk about respect. Because it's like, you could be there for somebody through everything. And then when you need somebody, that's my fear.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you can give your all to somebody and then they won't return it. And they'll break your heart, type of thing. And then that's where people don't want to get emotionally invested in people.
Yeah,
and they want to cut it off already if like they really can't get behind it.
Yeah, Nanda, what about you?
I think, well, going off of what she was saying, I mean, I think that's what's turned people to be cold.
Yes,
nowadays, because
well, you said, I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that. Exactly.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you've been through a lot with somebody. It could be.
And it hurts now more so at a older age, because it just like, it kind of like haunts you though, where it's like you weren't good enough to get that kind of like mutual reciprocation of like the gesture or the support.
Yeah.
That's what I think we look more now in our age for, just like support though. Like who's actually going to support me and drive me forward?
Yeah. I mean, and also, can you depend on the next person that you get with to be able to not do what the person before did? Where
you don't want to keep having your heart for sale. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't want to put it out on the showcase. You don't want to, because it's like, you know where this road leads most of the time.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that it's tough to put your all into someone, and I think a lot of people are living on the
shallow, surface level relationships. They don't want to get too deep.
Yeah, they're living shallow. They're living on the side of fear as well, because they don't want to get screwed over. And there's a whole bunch of things. there's people that are together to be together. Maybe they don't, one of them doesn't care about the other as much as they once first did or they previously did, and they're just together to be together.
They're comfortable.
They're comfortable, yeah.
But if you think about it, they do give some kind of sense of stability. That's where the mentality, the sick mentality is for these people who stick with these people who aren't good for them, because they still offer a back support for you, because you know that whatever happens, they're still there. And honestly, though, I do give them credit, because you know what? They could just abandon ship. You could have the best person that you think is the best person. They're the right person for you. You give them your all, and then all of a sudden, it's just a shock. And then that's what really makes you cold. But these people who, like, they could be the worst people for each other, but you always hear about them still having kids and this and that, and like still sticking together.
Yeah.
Because they actually still have a shred of kind of loyalty.
Yeah, good point.
But not in the best way. But
well, yeah, exactly. Not in the best way. And then
doesn't check off each check mark.
In other words, the toxic couples tend to stick together. I do see that.
I mean, they do. The only thing
Nobody else can deal with them.
Yeah.
Maybe they think that nobody else can deal with them. Maybe
No,
that's
some
why,
of them are really toxic. The other people.
that's why they stick with each other, probably. That's what I'm thinking,
They
because
found somebody.
well, I'm thinking people being together that are not good anymore being together. Is it bad that they're still together? What do you say about that? Should they be the ones
Depending how bad they are together. Because I get it, if you are still trying to stick it out, maybe, and work on it, and maybe it's not the best in every moment. However, it's just, you have to kind of gauge it case by case. It's like, do they abuse you? Like, do they prevent you from like having a life? It's just the kind of like, level of it where it's like, okay, you guys argue. What are you arguing about? What is causing problems? If it's just on the physical level where like it's an abusive relationship and that's why you stay, then no, I don't agree with that. But however, it's like if you have these kind of like problems that started with something over social media or somebody talking about this or somebody judging your life, because it's like, oh, my mother thinks this and that and like doesn't like your partner or like, and you get too much involved in it. I know from Polish families, the mother-in-laws and in-laws are just like, you either butt heads or you're the bestest of friends.
Oh, with in-laws? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of influences. However, like we were talking about earlier, if you're really dedicated to the person, if you are in just this kind of slump and like you're arguing, maybe something's not working out for you, I feel like those people, I get it. Like they stick for support and everything and they try to make it work. And then maybe they do, maybe they don't. But they at least give it a shot, and I do give that, some commendation on that,
I mean, I do give credit to people giving it a shot and trying to make it work. But if it gets to the point of, number one, physical abuse is something that should never be tolerated on both sides. Men abusing women physically or women abusing men physically, because it does happen from both sides.
Yeah.
I think
it's a lot of instigation though from women, because they do try to bring out that kind of like that kind of energy where it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then I'll have the upper hand.
Like they press the guy or something, like trigger him?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Like provoke a little bit.
Yeah.
they'll
women
press his
do
buttons.
have.
They'll press his buttons to make him mad and to flip out.
Women are intelligent. The way that they say things, they know what they're doing. So they want a reaction or a non-reaction that gives them the kind of validation that, hey, maybe the things I'm feeling and why I don't want to be with this guy is valid. Or they're going to really react and it might not be in the best way.
It could be a way to escape the relationship if they want the guy to like come at
I've
them.
used that actually. Not like instigate, like, but like where you would see like, what's your take on this? Like, like, okay, maybe that is exactly why I don't want to be. You want to kind of press it to the point, that pressure point where it's just like, what are we doing here? But some people take it too far, and that's where it gets to that.
That's what I think. I think there's people that if they can stick it out, great. Especially if they're that deep in the relationship where they're in a long-term relationship or they're married or they have kids and whatnot. Sure, try to stick it out, but especially if you're just in a a short-term relationship or even a long-term relationship, if it's not best to stick it out, why keep going? Just
Exactly.
break it off and try to start fresh.
But that's why girls don't want to go all the way down the line. That's why they do press these kind of like pressure points with guys. They want to see what you're about.
Yeah.
Like, okay, say you get a girl, 3 years you're together. And I've heard this so many times. Like 3 years you're together. No talk about like even moving in together. No talk about like this or that. Whereas like naturally it should be something that has come up already. So then they're like, what the hell? What's happening? What am I doing here? Let me see what this is really about. They give ultimatums. A lot of things end now with ultimatums because one person is just sick of waiting for something to happen and they want to already know what they're really in.
Where is this going ultimately?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you get either an extreme of asking a question
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
setting like that where it's like, okay, we're probably not compatible and I don't want to like
Yeah.
see this through. Or they stick with somebody for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. They don't really have kids, but maybe they have a dog or a cat or something together. Maybe they moved in. But they're just like, what did I do here for the last 3 years? Like, or something. What did I do here?
I mean,
And I could have found out.
I think it's better for people to find out in 3 years or 5 years than to find out in 7, 8, 10 years,
But-
15 years after so much has gone through. If you're at a point in the relationship where it's too kind of blah and it's not really, working out on
Wait,
both ends.
what's your timeline now, though, for your age? Like, what would you consider? Like, how long would you go in a relationship, though, before you call it quits?
I mean, I think my longest relationships are many people's possibly shortest relationship.
Do tell.
No, the reason being is because why stay in a long-term relationship to end up not working out? Might as well cut it short.
But it seems like you're the girl in this situation. You
Well-
kind of are looking for that, like, can I see the horizon? Like, is it going to end soon?
I mean, I'm one looking to see if it's going to be a value to me down the line. So if I'm in it for a bit and I don't see this woman being valuable to me in the future, then
How do you break that off, though, to the girl?
sometimes
Yeah, I want to know about
so-
how you
so-
end it
I
and
mean-
how you kind of maybe motivate her into finding or bettering herself.
with some of my exes, it's been mutual, and with like one or two of them, it's been more me
Okay.
than anything else because they know what in my opinion, what I think. Maybe they don't think this.
Is
but
it because you're career driven?
I'm more career driven, which men should be. Men should be career driven, focused on making money and building up in all facets of life. But money and status and being in the gym, it kind of stems from there.
However, though, in Europe, like Poland, my dad was nothing when my parents got married, really. And then they moved here to America, visa, lottery that they had back in the day. My grandma got it, and like they moved here to have a better life. But like now we see that the guys are trying to build them up all the way up to the top and then worry about having a family and everything like that. Whereas like in the other way, it was the vice versa. You get a family and then you work to support that.
I think it's a numbers game, if anything, because how many options did they have back then versus now? People have.
But that actually goes into your parents. What did they do? They created a family and then sustained it. So then you are able to not have to do that, though.
I think at that time they didn't have that many options. So if they like somebody that
So they created options, though, for you in order to you have a better life, like where you do have options. And like I don't have to really. I could work on my career first.
right. But there's some people that don't want kids that are living life for themselves now. Like there are people choosing, both men and women choosing not to have kids.
Yeah.
It could be because they don't feel comfortable having kids with one another, or what I see mostly is people
Some
don't want to
people
have
can't get pregnant now, though.
some women can't get pregnant. There's a health issue, sure.
My sister, it's just IVF though, and my nephew was conceived that way, and I find it like some people can't have kids, so that already is that kind of like check mark that just doesn't get checked for some people. Like it's a very more limited dating pool for those people who really can't have kids.
Definitely there's a health side. There's definitely people that can't have kids, women that can't have kids, but there's also men
But
and
would
women
you
that
be with somebody if you want kids? Would you be with somebody that can't? Then it's like down a different road.
Interesting
than
question. Never thought
adoption.
about that. Never thought about that. Yeah.
I mean, personally,
Can you see your life like that?
to me, I mean, I am half and half on kids or not. I mean, it's not.
What if you find the love of your life and then it turns out, but then that's a question you have to ask. Do you want kids?
Once you get to that point, you have to find out whether it's something that they want or not.
But
Because
say you fall in love with them and then a year later it's like you find out.
You find out that she can't have kids. Okay.
I think you have to set it up before. You have to have the talk beforehand, and that's where you also set boundaries beforehand. You know what, they're,
So I think
allowed
that the
to-
questions though that like that girl asked Rob, like,
But I wouldn't do it right out the gate. That's
Yeah.
like
a
haven't
few
met
months
yet.
in.
I wouldn't
Like,
like, yeah,
2 or 3.
well, yeah. Eventually, you're gonna ask more serious questions, but I wouldn't connect with a girl and be like, "Hey, where are you from? What's your age? By the way, can you have kids?" Or like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
no,
saying?
that's
You
a
know what
creep
I'm
though.
saying?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that has happened to me
you see,
before,
like-
where it's like, yeah, can you have? And
I don't
do
think
you
they would
want?
appreciate that. Like,
I'm like, no, don't ask about that.
Yeah.
That's like too personal.
yes.
I don't think you get that serious that quick.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So it's like, what is the right timing for these things? And it's like, what's the right timing to like cut something off if it doesn't work for you? Exactly.
Which brings me to my next question. Do you think that as people get older, they kind of juggle between this decision of like, well, what do I do? Do I just stay single and live my best life? Focus on myself? Because I think this is what a lot of people are struggling with. Or do I, because to really find somebody nowadays, you have to make a conscious effort to make it happen. It won't just happen. Like, if you're just hoping somebody's going to come along to your life, it might, but don't count on that.
Yeah,
Do you
sometimes
think-
it happens if you keep your mind open, and that's what all the married couples and the couples that are together, like, keep your options open, it'll happen for you.
yeah.
Okay, am I gonna get hit by a train with the love of my life in it? That's gonna be like saving me? Like, is that how I'm supposed to know what's the sign?
Yeah. Yeah.
For women, it's like the older you get, it's like, I guess, like to that point, it's like you start kind of like accepting in yourself, like, okay, I'm getting to this age. Did I do anything preventative? Like, did I freeze my eggs? Can I have options afterwards? It's like, do you want kids? Do you like? Then you start accepting it if you get to a point, an age, and like a situation in life, and then you're like, it's probably not going to work out for me eventually. It's
Yeah, because
not.
the reason I'm asking this question is like I'm 38, and surprisingly, I know people that are married with kids, of course, but I know a lot of people my age that just they
You
don't
still have kids
seem.
to 100 if you live to it. So,
If you told me,
there's some guys that have kids at 80 years old. so-
yeah, Al Pacino, shout out.
but you notice that there's
There's
people
another
our
one,
age
too.
that just don't seem like they're in any rush. They're not like scrambling to meet somebody.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I know people personally that they're together. They've been together for years, and they're not in a rush to, marriage, kids, none of that. I think they're either probably doubtful of one another. They don't know if they can get that far with each other, or they don't have that plans with one another, or they're living their lives the way they want to live
But
it without
about
that.
trust. It's about trust, though, if you are married with somebody. So in the, back in the day, it's like you share all of your banking accounts, you share your passwords, you share everything. In my family, we knew everything, all the passwords, everything. Like my father had even like no chance to like even like cheat on my mom, or like my mom vice versa. So it's just like the trust, like weird, like these people, like people nowadays, it's like, I'm not going to share my password to my phone with you.
Your whole
I'm
life
not
is in
gonna
your phone.
Share my location with you.
Yeah.
So it's like your own privacy, though. It's like if you've been like alone and single for a long time, that also shapes into kind of like, what are you like really going to give up here into a relationship? So then that also is like, it's diluting the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, are you really going to marry somebody you don't have their password to the phone to?
Well, let me ask you. So, if you were married, would you expect your man to do that?
I would. If
Yeah.
you really decide to marry someone nowadays, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You want to
No.
make sure, like,
Like, if you go missing, I'll have your Find My iPhone passcode. Like, I'm going to find you, Taken style type
why
of
is
thing.
Pizza Hut texting you at 3 a.m. like that?
Okay.
Like, that type of- yeah.
That's actually really funny, that video. I'm not going to say. He actually went to Ramapo College. He dated my sister. My sister's not going to watch this probably, but he's just such a faker. He's a creator. It's a younger kid.
Yeah.
This bully. Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-huh. And yeah, you can even see I know him. So, no, but I'm just saying he creates this kind of Like, it's exactly, he's getting following on these kinds of things, and it's kind of like fucked up though, where it's like you shouldn't really like kind of like people are finding it okay. Then it's like, oh, funny, Pizza Hut's calling. It's like, oh my God, I'm watching somebody, and it's like somebody could really be cheating on somebody like that way, and it's like, I get it. It's funny, okay. But then when you really think about it, like, people really do go out of their own way, though. Like, they get another phone.
Oh,
they get
yeah.
a burner
I
phone,
was gonna
like
say.
married men. And, like, they take off their wedding rings. They go trolling in, like, Hoboken and
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
And it's like, it just dilutes everything.
Well, there's people that want to keep the marriage and the relationship intact, and they don't want anything to impact that in any negative way.
And open marriages.
But they want the option. They want to do it behind the scenes. Like, they want to do it where their woman doesn't know, because you could try to.
It's fulfilling their fantasy, though.
That's probably could be that. I mean, you could tell them up front, tell a woman up front, but how would you feel a guy coming up to you and telling you, "Oh, I want an open relationship or an open marriage"? Would you allow that?
I feel like a lot of girls nowadays are. They're okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
They look at like how we were talking about certain things before. It's like they look at a situation and see what they get out of it. Like, I don't have to commit to this person.
Okay.
He's married. I'm going to get what I need. And maybe there's something beneficial to me from it. Friends with benefits, a type of thing.
You're saying like when women hook up with married men, or you're saying married couples do that? Like,
Oh, no, I'm saying like if a married guy like approaches like a young girl
Oh,
out
gotcha.
of Hoboken or Manhattan and says, "Hey, I'm married, but like, you know, like do you want to just do a thing?" Like type
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, we're not going to be a relationship, and you know, like, and I'm still going to stay married, and I'm still going to have my life intact. So yeah, it's like, do you actually open up your whole marriage into like an open relationship? Because I feel like if you do that, then you should give your wife that option then.
So you,
And then are you going to be butthurt about it then as a guy? Like, no, I can do this, but you can't do that.
so like not having her closed off and having him open would be messed up. You're saying?
I'm saying, like, you know, you get two options. It's like you have a girl that benefits from just say an affair with a married guy, and she doesn't have to commit to the guy. There's a lot of girls that do like benefit off of that because they don't have to, and they can still live their lives.
plus, I think deep down inside, it's a turn on for them that the guy's married.
That they want to be with you more than them, and it's like, oh, it's this kind of like, you know,
Fulfilling a fantasy, sort of.
yeah, it's the apple of the poisonous tree. It's like, it's, oh my God.
So if that situation came about, would you be okay with being the side piece or the wife in that situation of the guy? The guy's going out to cheat, side piece, wife. Which one would you?
So looking at it from both perspectives, if I was the wife of a guy who say is successful, okay, he goes out and like cheats sometimes, you know,
rich, status, everything.
In that position,
It's-
if I was married to him, I get half of that shit in Jersey. Sure, I'll tell you, I'm gonna go and like whatever. I'll go and be with like a younger guy for a night too. All right, and then
Yeah.
we're together, we're happy. However, it's like, I guess if your relationship already is in this kind of point where it's like the wife doesn't want to do anything sexual, or the guy is not attracted to the wife
You're hitting
anymore.
on a key point here, yes.
And it's just like, you also have to work at that to not have that happen to you. But if I was the wife, hell, go. I'll divorce you if you do something really fucked up. Like, we're going to keep it together for the kids if you have kids, you know? And like, now I guess it's like more adaptive, like to like the kind of social kind of like acceptance of it.
Yeah, it's more socially accepted now, yeah.
Back in the day, like, I don't think people in Poland, like married couples, like, or like even married guys, like, do that. They got drunk at home and like stuff. Like, it's just,
I don't think it was like that between many
they weren't
cultures.
attractive. Most of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well, go ahead. Yeah, you say yours first.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't think back then there was that option to do it. Now that there's the option to do that sort of thing,
It's more accessible.
it's more accessible. People explore it. People explore that
And it's
possibility,
more open. Yeah.
and it's more open. Yep.
Yep.
So in the U.S., marriages last on average 8 years. That's for some reason the point where things go south. I think, to your point, it's exactly for that reason. I think the sex goes downhill. They let each other go. Now you're just married. The excitement's not there, and that's when the cheating happens.
And you find a freak that'll do that kind of stuff that you want, and you watch, like, you know, you go on OnlyFans, you see this girl that you want, and like type of thing, like, and you try to find that kind of girl that's gonna satisfy you because your wife doesn't, and you want a younger chick, and the wife's still at home with the kids, and like, you know, but that's where it's like a girl, like a woman, is more kind of tied down to it. How do you leave your kids in order to go cheat? Whereas a husband definitely could say, I'm working late. The kids are gonna ask, where the hell is mom? Not really, where the hell is dad? Type of thing. So
that's a good point.
You know, it's more of an option for the guy to kind of really cheat, because you don't really hear about a woman like leaving her kids like that. Like, there are women like that, but like you really don't hear about it more. So.
Well, there's women now working as well, so women do have the possibility to say, "Hey,
Coldplay concert."
I was
that we did a video on that. Yeah,
we did an episode on that. I was actually going to ask you. Well, it's not always an OnlyFans girl or some girl in nightlife, some bartender, some stripper.
I understand that situation.
Neither did I.
Well, they worked with one another, so
Yeah, but that.
he wasn't even looking younger. He was. It seems to me.
I think she was even like a year older.
She had gray hair.
No
she
joke.
had gray hair.
Yeah.
They were probably close to the same age, if one older than
But
the
it's
other.
that support. They probably found comfort in each other, and they were always around each other, and you have a very limited
They
pool.
built that relationship at work. They built that connection at work. Because you see each other every day.
They're executives, yeah.
He probably saw her more than he saw his wife
She was
altogether.
the human resource. Like,
The
she was
HR,
the HR, the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They always say that there's the work husband, work wife.
Yeah.
type
It's a real thing, yeah.
It's a real thing. And that really came to fruition in that situation right there.
Whereas I do have to say, in my office and everything, everyone's like a very wholesome, like married person, and I love it.
That's
and
good.
like we spend the most time around each other. So I guess it's also like, I don't know, kind of like I work at a law firm. Like, I feel like every single person knows that if they get caught cheating with somebody at work, and we actually heard about a scandal that happened in like Sparta at a law firm where it was like the husband and wife worked together, and she was cheating on, she was like the manager, like the office manager or something, or the books, and she was like cheating on her husband that was a partner with another partner. And it was just wild. It was just like I feel like it's like where you work more that like kind of makes it acceptable. I feel like as lawyers, like, you know, the people I work with,
Well,
they know that if they lose half of their crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're smarter than that.
That's true. That's true. You were going to say it?
No, I was going to say, I knew somebody that was a paralegal at a law firm in the city, and she said that all the lawyers there were cheating on their wives. Like,
Because that's
100%.
like a huge, like,
well, huge law firm.
like huge corporate
yeah.
laws and everything like that. So, and they're like New York people.
True.
Like,
I mean, in the city, you put yourself in the situation. Like, you're in that situation
You're
to
in the
be able
hot pot.
to be able to cheat.
you're in the hot pot of that. You're just there.
Her exact words were, "They all do coke and they all cheat on their wives."
Well, damn. I guess
That's
they're living
It's
in
like what's the movie?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, but yeah, I guess it's everything that is now just kind of more acceptable, and like, yeah, that's crazy that like you either look for support, fantasy, or it's basically the support and kind of like, you know, like, attaboy, you're a good, hardworking, successful man, and like it's the lust. It's also lust, like, you know.
There are people that spend more time with one another at work than they do spend time with their loved ones. I mean, think about it. You're at work for 8, 9, 10 hours. Sometimes you go home, you're together with your loved ones.
And it's
maybe
just
for
bitching though. At home, that's what you get. You get a negative reaction most of the times because it's like, why are you working so late? Why are you this? Why are you that? So then at a point, you're just like, fuck it, I'll stay at work late because this person's giving me good energy, good attention.
and then you're tired when you're home, and then maybe one of them is with the kids, or you're both with the kids, and
You don't get the best version
you don't
of
get
that person if you do work very late hours in a very demanding job.
even
And
if
you
it's
still
a
have to put up with like cheating and
Yeah, like that guy was the CEO, so he was probably almost never home.
unlikely he was. Very
So
unlikely.
it's a lot of factors that depend in this, and like the acceptability, like just what's acceptable.
Yeah. And the accessibility too, because if it wasn't as accessible, if it wasn't easy to get all those options, then it wouldn't happen it would happen, but not as much.
It takes a risk taker to really go out there and like find like an affair, because then it's like, how do you actually, what's the pool? Where do you find these affairs that happen? It's people that you know.
You're close by.
Exactly. So then now, as like people dating, where do you find a person that's actually like not like attached to somebody and everything like that? So yeah, our dating pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yes.
And our checklists get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
100%.
We have to find common ground for ourselves each internally as to like, what really is your goal?
Yeah.
If there's anybody that's like in their 20s watching this, as you get older, your circle gets smaller. Your social life goes out the window. You won't have a social life. And like you said, it's very true. Your dating pool becomes not only smaller, but you have less like quality to choose from.
I have like 2 friends at this point that if I
yeah.
died, they
It's
would
true.
probably find out.
That's how it is.
It's
yeah.
good
Within
to
like
have,
2 days.
It's good to have a small circle. It's definitely good. You have.
Yeah.
It seems like that way you have more people that you can confide in.
But my work would know right away though. Like, but that's what I'm saying.
You get close with people at work too.
Yeah, those people check in on you though.
Those are the real ones. Yeah, it's true.
Because you're in the trenches with them most of the day. So
100%. 100%.
yeah, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it actually just goes down to like who you really work with.
Yeah.
Who you're around. I mean, if they're cool people or not, and then you build that relationship, and then things take
It's
off.
like a
from
double life though that you live. Like when you go home, it's like you get a different person, like a version of yourself. Whereas when you're at work, I feel like you have to be a person, a certain kind of person, and then like when you go home, you don't want to be that person.
I was gonna say, I think when people are unhappy with their home life, they're gonna hide at work.
Yeah.
And that's that's how that's gonna end. So
They're gonna hide at work, and
then concerts.
and then you go to Coldplay.
Coldplay concert, and
Hey, baby, I got box tickets. Let's
What
go
bad
see
luck that they-
Maroon 5 next.
Trust me, there's no way we'll end up on that screen.
they include a little extra fee so you can end up on the
Then I feel
jumbotron.
bad for the kids of like that lady. Like,
That's the
how
problem.
how do you then? It's like your outlook on what a marriage or love is after that. That like that's where parents also influence a lot.
I mean, I could see where he was going with it and why he did it, because he was probably not getting any at home. But why she did it, maybe it could be that
She was married too.
She was.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah,
either
that's right.
married
They
or
just bought a house like literally earlier the year.
The woman he cheated with?
No, the woman, yeah,
The
the,
HR
HR,
lady.
with her husband,
Oh,
who is also like a tech executive something.
There was
like
some-
he's rich. I don't know where that jump off. She jumped from one like dock to the same level dock.
Well,
to the same yacht or something.
there was some stories that she
I didn't know that. I didn't know they bought a house.
Yeah, there was some stories that she was either divorced or married to like a
yeah,
CEO
that was
or
in the
something.
beginning where they were like, "Oh, she's divorced." No, she's married.
So she's married. Okay, gotcha.
It was like a liquor executive or something. Liquor.
So another successful guy. Like
yes.
Maybe because women are more emotional when it comes to relationships. So maybe it was that. Maybe that she wasn't getting that emotional connection from him. But yeah, who knows? Really
Yeah,
happened
maybe
there.
both of them were very busy. Maybe he also was cheating at work, but he didn't go to a concert to get caught. That's exactly.
It's
a lot of people cheat.
Yeah, a lot of people do cheat.
yeah, we were talking about
He was
like
probably
why.
at a hockey game that night. With his girl. I don't. But
A lot of people cheat. I mean, that I guess we can come to that conclusion is that a lot of people do cheat, and they find different ways to cheat, and relationships aren't as what they seem sometimes on social media. When it's
depending on your status, you could get the kind that you want.
if you have a good status, then you as
You
a
got
guy,
a bigger pick.
you got a bigger pick. Absolutely,
Yeah, if you have money, you got the younger girls. If you're a guy.
that's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more. We're gonna jump off the live. Anything you guys want to say before we jump off the live to the pre-record?
I'm excited for the second part. I think we have a great conversation going. So let's switch off and go to the pre-record.
Let's switch off here because we've been a little bit more than an hour, guys. Again,
Wow, that went quick.
Goes
That
quick.
one-
Goes
For
quick.
the first time, that went
Goes quick.
quick.
see
Sorry, guys, I'm new.
when you come on, the ladies that come on, they get a little nervous. Some of them are, we still have some ladies that are planning on coming on, but they're, I know there's some ladies out there that are
Well, I
nervous.
hope they take some, it's not that scary.
They gotta learn from you. They gotta learn from you. It's really not that bad. It's really not that scary, and it's a good opportunity to,
Once you get in the conversation, I feel like that's a good.
tell your story. And we're gonna hear a little bit more about your story coming up. So, guys, make sure that the pre-record is gonna come up probably within the next couple weeks. So just be on the lookout for that. That's why you want to make sure to subscribe to the Podcast Guys on YouTube. Make sure you follow us there. And check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, the Podcast Guys _ the Podcast Guys 5 on X, the Podcast Guys on Spotify and Facebook.
Surprised you guys don't have like a Twitch or something. Like,
we should make a Twitch.
Like
we should make a Twitch.
We're on
every single.
Yeah. We're on Threads now, so check us out there, and we'll probably add on a few more. So I don't think I missed any of it, but we'll probably add on a few more there. So definitely check us out there, and we'll be on the lookout for that, guys. So until next time, peace.
Stop streaming.
I gotta get used.